be in your way.
I'm happy to be here with my colleagues from the House of Representatives, Congressman Flake and Congressman Gosar, Congressman Quayle, and Congressman Schweiker. We'll each make very brief comments, and we will respond to any questions that you might have. We've been on a tour of the border, and we are going to head down to Yuma sector after we leave here. We've been in Douglas and Nogales, and had very good briefings here at the HIDA headquarters on the efforts that are being made to stem the flow of drugs from Mexico into the United States. And we're very impressed by the coordination that exists between all the agencies, the federal government, state and local governments that are here. We have still significant challenges. Over half of the marijuana that comes in to the United States of America crosses the Arizona border. Phoenix and Tucson are the distribution centers for drugs throughout this nation, with the exception of the state of Texas. So Arizona is the battleground state. Very disturbed at the announcement made by the Department of Homeland Security in Washington that they will be withdrawing the National Guard. Every place we go and we talk to the people on the border and here, that the work that the National Guard has been doing is vital, and it needs to be increased rather than decreased. There still remains an unacceptable situation of some 75 to 100 scouts on mountain tops from the border up all the way into Pinal County that are guiding the drug traffickers as they move the drugs into Phoenix and then distribute it across this country. So we have a lot of work to do. We go back again better informed. We will be, along with Senator Kyle and other members of the delegation, introducing our 10-point plan again to get the border secured. And after the border is secured and we can assure our citizens of that, then we will be fully prepared to move forward with comprehensive immigration reform. Congressman Flake, we'll go by order of age.
Well, thank you. It's good to be. This is my second trip to the border in just the last couple of weeks. Let me just note the change that's come at the border over the past several years. It used to be that those tied to human smuggling or drug smuggling were the exception to the rule. Now that is the rule. Virtually everyone that crosses is tied to a human smuggling ring or to the drug cartels. And we witnessed a drug seizure there while we were there in Douglas. It's a bad situation. We're coming up on the 1-year anniversary of the killing of Rob Krentz. We met with his widow, Sue, his brother, Phil, and other ranchers. And I can tell you, they don't believe that the border is anywhere near secure. We need to do a lot of things before it is. So anyway, that's I'll leave it at that.
Congressman Schweiker.
Yeah, for those of us who've now been in office for what, 80 some days, this is a wonderful trip because it's a combination of learning what the facts are and what's folklore, what's working, and then the disturbing reality of just how violent, and particularly because of, as the crackdowns begin to work in some areas, it has really pushed up the danger, and that's danger to our Arizona citizens. And now trying to find out, how do we fix it?
Well, thank you. And being also one of the freshmen in here, it's trying to get all the rest of the information and seeing that we're making some headways, but there are far way to go. And particularly when you look at some of the metropolitan applications and how we have to utilize that for the rural applications, because we're equally afforded that across that enforcement across that border. So we have to continue to get better. And last but not least is we have to make sure that we're making those decisions based here and not in Washington, D.C. And we still see that same thing being dictated from D.C.
Yep. Senator McCain, I want to thank you for organizing this trip. It was extraordinarily important for all of us to come down here and to see what the boots on the ground are doing and to see the great work that they're doing. But that work can't end now, and we can't let some of the positive momentum that we have to actually go backwards, because when you look at the actual reality, it is that
border, what prospects are there that things will be significantly better there a year from now, and what can you all do to make that happen?
The President, I understand today or yesterday, emphasized his desire to move forward with comprehensive immigration reform. We share exactly that desire. But we have to have our border secured, and we have to have their commitment. And frankly, when the Secretary of Homeland Security withdraws the National Guard from the border after they've been doing such a good job, all you have to do is ask anyone, then we don't know if they're really serious about securing our border. So I think the lesson is that we have to go back, inform our colleagues. For example, when I tell our colleagues there's 75 or 100 scouts on mountaintops throughout our state guiding drug smugglers, they find that hard to believe. And so we're going to have to go back and convince our colleagues in the Congress to take action, even if the President will not be as cooperative as we want him to be.
We have two different definitions of operational control, Senator. We have two different definitions of operational control.
Our definition is very clear of operational control, and that is implementation of John Kyle's and my 10-point plan.
What did the National Guard do that was a good job? Can you define that, please?
Sure, they did identification, they did surveillance, they had a number of other duties that, and apprehension as well, but mainly they supplemented the work of the Border Patrol, that the Border Patrol was able to be freed up to do their work on the border.
So do you think the National Guard should be here longer?
According to the head of HIDA here.
Do you think
the woman who's
that
let me finish, sir, let me finish. That's what we generally do. According to the head of HIDA here, the person in charge said that their work was vital. I take her word for it.
The ranchers, you mentioned the ranchers, that's one thing that they mentioned specifically. You've got to have the National Guard continue, because if they leave, they think there's a void there that won't be filled.
So do you want them here permanently?
We want them here until we have enough Border Patrol and other associated organizations that will complete the job of securing the border.
How long
Can
will
you
it
guys
take?
talk more about your tour? Aside from meeting with the Prince family, what else you guys did?
Well, we've gone through
Flights, things like that.
we looked at the intense work that they go through each of the crossing of the borders, the border entry points, and what's going on and how each of the places are, and each of the details go through in apprehension and targeting. It's been very informative.
In other words, we've visited the points of entry, we visited with the individuals, the ranchers, and we have been briefed up by Customs and Border Patrol people on the duties that they're carrying out. And of course, the entire statewide effort that's going on here at HIDA.
You guys didn't do any flybys or anything like that this trip?
No, not this trip.
Senator, you've toured the border many times in the past. What's different this time than any other time you've done touring along the border?
Look, I think there have been some improvements. I think all of us would agree that there have been some improvements, but the level of violence has also dramatically increased on the other side of the border. At the Douglas point of entry, we were shown a film of just happened in the last few days of 3 vehicles with police lights on that traveled the street bordering on the point of entry, took a left turn and a block away, killed 3 to 5 people and injured and wounded around 13 or 15 more. That was the street next to the Arizona border. The violence level is incredibly high, and we haven't kept up with that.
I think what's changed for me over the years is the number of crossers who are tied to drug smuggling, to lessen the cost of their crossing, or for whatever reason. Human smuggling that is the rule, and drug smuggling is along